Is lovely to see everybody back in person. And for many of you, I know it's the end of a very long school year. And I was just about to say, I hope you can find some time to relax. And then you're going to sit through this meeting and you're not going to be relaxed. So I'm very sorry. My name's Rodney Dorsey, and I am the president of the Midwest Clinic Board of Directors. And as I thought about my remarks this morning, that is the first time I've actually said that in public in front of a group of people ever. So I guess there's no turning back now at all. Usually, if you've brought a group here before, you've probably thought, yeah, isn't this meeting usually a week earlier? Well, it traditionally is, but you should know there was a very, very large oncology convention here during our traditional week, so we got bumped. But then we get bumped into a cannabis convention that's happening right now. Seriously, right now, yeah. We'll try to make sure that that doesn't happen when you have middle school or high school students here in December. You're going to get a good amount of information this morning. You're going to have opportunities to ask questions because I know you have a lot of them. But there's just a couple of things I wanted to say in my opening remarks this morning is I would like everybody to just remember, as you get these memos and you're trying to program a concert and it's like some demented college music ed band programming assignment that your teacher has given you, the Midwest Clinic started out as a reading session for directors to hear new music, hear it, walk next door in the gym, buy it, take it home, and play it with their ensembles. So we really want all of our attendees to hear multiple levels of grade of music. So if I'm a middle school director, I know I can go to a concert of a high school band, the finest high school bands in our country, and hear music that my students can play. I just wanted to remind everybody to keep that in mind because I know, especially if you've never had a group here before, you're all excited about it, and you start getting these memos from Kelly, and it's like, oh, okay, great, yay. It's all about our attendees and making sure they can hear a lot of different music. And we sincerely appreciate you thinking about diversifying your programs at grade level. Underrepresented composers. It's really important. I was thinking about that, and I don't remember playing music by anybody that looked like me ever in high school and middle school. I started playing clarinet when I was in 4th grade. So that's really important for all our students. If you're a director who has had a group play at Midwest before, would you raise your hand? So if your hand is not raised, can you look around at these people raising their hands and get to know them? Thank you. Get to know them. Of course, our staff, Kelly and Tom, they are really caring about what they do, and they care about your experience, and that's really important to them. They will have a lot of answers. Your liaisons, I'm always like, look, if I don't have the answer, I'll check on it, because it's kind of like advising doctoral conducting students. You don't want to tell them that something is true and then they find out later that they can't graduate because you gave them incorrect information. We don't want to do that. So use each other to help each other. It's a very fun group now. And here's another thing. I hope in December, when I pass you guys going in the halls with your groups, you look this relaxed. I honestly say sometimes I think it's the last time I see you guys smile ever, because we don't see you again. Somehow find some joy in the process, please. I've been to a lot of Midwests, and I see students on stage, and I'm like, nobody looks like they're having any kind of fun at all. So I hope that we don't put so much pressure on you that Midwest is like a musical root canal. So think about that as you're here during the summer. And one thing I would like to say personally is I would like to just thank all of you for the work that you do for your students and your communities. I don't think in our society we tell people we appreciate them enough. And I hope where you're from that your parents and students thank you. Take some time to thank you. And I hope it's before you retire or something bad happens. I don't think we say it enough. And it's obvious that we have some of the finest teachers in our country sitting in this room right now. So I just want to say thank you for all that you do for your communities and students. And just think about it as a way to share what you do back at home with everybody that comes to Midwest, because it's important. And we all need positive in what we're doing these days. And music is one of the most positive, beautiful things I can think of. So continue to share that with the students. And we're excited that you're going to share it with us in December. So I would like to introduce, you're gonna meet a number of liaisons of our board members who are gonna come up and introduce groups. And I'll tell you the logistics of that in just a few minutes. But there are some people who aren't our liaisons who are also on our board, because this is a big group thing. And some of them are here, some of them are not. And if you're here in the room, just kind of raise your hand. There's George Quinlan. I don't know if George is with us this morning. John Bose, Sam Hodson. And because of our date change, a number of these people had other commitments. They couldn't be here with us. John Clinton, Jose Diaz, Corey Graves, Mary Land, Kevin Sedetol, Mark Chose, and Lisa Steele McDonald. These are, I've been on this board a long time. I never do the math kind of person. When people ask me how old I am, I say it out loud and I go, God, really? I'm that old? Crap. But the people that are on this board are the most conscientious, thoughtful, professional people you'll find in our business. We have great discussions. We don't always agree on things, but we can leave the room and we're fine with each other. We can go have dinner and laugh, and I'm serious about that. It's a great group of people to be around, and you'll meet others as they come up and introduce the groups. So the next part of our session is we're going to introduce all of you, and Kelly has put together some beautiful slides. So all of you have beautiful pictures of your groups and yourselves, and so make sure when your group is called, you see your picture up here. There's two things I want you to do. Start to head towards the front, and everybody else in the room, if they don't look as happy as they do in this photo in December, just remind them, hey, I don't think that's not the same Carrie Taylor I remember from this summer. But now, anyway, it's all good. We will have a slide, and as you see your slide, we will bring you up front, and a liaison, either your liaison or someone representing your liaison, will introduce your group. And the first person I'm going to kick off to introduce is someone who has led our group for many years. And when he told us he was going to step down as president, no, he's not. Well, he was serious. And we think so much of Dr. Richard Crane that we created a new title for him. And this is our first official past president of the Midwest Clinic, Dr. Richard Crane.
Thank you very much, Rodney, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much. And that beautiful picture was taken last week of me Would you believe the last century? The first group that I'm introducing today is actually Kevin Sedatal is the liaison for this group, but I'm very honored to introduce the Allen High School Wind Ensemble, Philip Abado, director. And the next group is the Allen High School Saxophone Ensemble, Alexander Bocheski, director. And I want to add my welcome and congratulations to all the wonderful ensembles that will be the 76th Annual Midwest Clinic. The next group, Creek Valley Honor Winds, Kim Cooley, director, and she's accompanied by Joshua Lott. Each of you will receive your Midwest pin today too. Kelly is distributing those. The next group, outstanding group, is the Artie Henry Middle School Band from Leander, Texas. Robert Herrings III, director. The next group is the Incendio Saxophone Trio, Bron Pelagic, director. And from the Klein, Texas, the Krimmel Intermediate Symphonic Band, Stetson Begin, director. So how do you pronounce your last name? And he said begin, like begin the begin. And I was singing some other song, I guess. And we're so honored this year to have from Washington, D.C., the premier military group, the United States Navy Band, Commander Ken Collins, director, commander and conductor. And let's go have our picture, man. And the liaison that Kelly deals with is Chief Musician Nathaniel Wilson. Would you stand, please?
Well, good morning. Dr. Crane just asked me to say a few words. First of all, I'll say it's better late than never. We were supposed to be here in 2020, but something happened that interfered with that performance in 2020 that I'm sure we're all familiar with. The last time we were here was 2014, so we are very much looking forward to coming back to Chicago this year. It's always a special performance for us when we get the chance to perform for educators and students, but Midwest is truly special, and I just want to thank the staff and the board of directors at Midwest for all you do all year long to provide this experience for all of us. I think everybody in the industry looks forward to coming to Chicago in December. And think about what I just said. We look forward to coming to Chicago in December because of what you all do. It really charges the batteries for the rest of the year and is truly special for all of us. And finally, I'll say, I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity as I stand in a room full of some of the finest music educators we have in the country to say thank you for all you do every day. We at the United States Navy Band are direct beneficiaries of what you do. Every person who sits in a seat in our organization had the light bulb turned on or received inspiration from a music educator at some point in their career. You know, music does not just perpetuate itself. It has to be fostered, it has to be cultivated, and it has to be taught or it dies. And so thank you all for being the ones in our society who agreed to do this for us. It's an incredibly important calling, and I'm incredibly appreciative of your efforts. We look forward to seeing you in December. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. The Navy Band will be pretty busy. They're doing a chamber concert on Monday morning and 2 concerts Monday evening and also a clinic session on Tuesday morning. The last group that I introduce is the Westlake High School Wind Ensemble, Carrie Taylor, director.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce 3 groups. The first is the Baylor Wind Ensemble, J. Eric Wilson and Isaiah Odejima, conductors. You notice we wanted to see that Mr. Crane got his exercise this morning, which is the reason we had him introduce so many people. He's gotten half of his steps in. The second group is the Lone Star High School Wind Ensemble, Mark Poole and Tim Hickman, directors. The last ensemble, the conductor could not be here for obvious reasons. He is from Madrid, España. But Francisco, I've practiced this, so please, if you can help me with my pronunciation later, I would welcome that. Francisco Javier Icaraz León. He is from the Royal Conservatory of Madrid, España, and he will be bringing his trumpet ensemble, and it's going to be a real treat because they play extremely well. So congratulations to everyone.
Awesome. It's my pleasure to introduce to you this morning the director of the Alexander Dreyfus School of the Arts from Florida, Evan Raghavan. And next, the William Mason High School Wind Symphony, Edward Protzman, director. Tony Garcia.
Thank you so much. It's my privilege to be able to introduce all of the jazz groups because my colleague Dick Dunscombe had a family emergency and Jose Diaz had booked an engagement before the schedule changed, so I get the benefit of their absence. It's my thrill to introduce to you, as I may, the Austin Academy Jazz Ensemble, the director, Margaret Wiss. The director of the Cedar Falls High School Jazz One, Kyle Engelhardt. Gerald Ramsey also coming up. And I apologize for Austin Academy. I didn't mention by name Joseph Figarelli, who also came up with Margaret Wiss. Delighted that they're here. And representing the North Carolina State Jazz Orchestra, Wes Parker, director. Pebble Hills Jazz Ensemble, Maximo Sierra. And from not too far away, the Pete Elman Big Band, with Pete Elman directing and Lieutenant Colonel Brian Miller also representing. Please come up, if you will. And Tennessee State University, the director, James Sexton, is out of the country, but representing the ensemble is the director of the ensemble, Derek Green. And I have not had a chance to meet Mr. Green this morning, so Derek Green. Not attending today, but just so that you know, representing the U.S. Air Force Airmen of Note, who will be bringing their jazz performance this year, will be Sergeant Lucas Brandon. We're always appreciative of the military ensembles bringing their classical and jazz representatives to our wonderful conference in December. Yes. And finally, the Westlake from the other side of the country. This is Westlake High School Studio Jazz Ensemble One's director, Brian Peter.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor and a privilege to welcome and invite the first group that I'm serving as a liaison, the Chicago Sinfonietta Orchestra, Director Mayan Chen, and representing the organization this morning is Gary Zabinski and Camila Hines Mohammed. Welcome. The next orchestra that I get to have the honor of introducing is the Chicago Youth Symphony Orchestra, Director Alan Tinkham, one of my very first conducting teachers. And also representing the organization is his colleague, Madeline Maxwell. Welcome. The next orchestra is Johns Creek High School Chamber Orchestra, conducted by Mr. Young Kim. Next, we welcome Sartatia Middle School Honors Orchestra, Director Heather Davis. Next, we welcome Seven Lakes Junior High School Chamber Orchestra, Director Bethany Hagan, and their other director, Jennifer Gingell, director, could not attend this morning due to personal reasons. Thank you. And finally, I have the honor of introducing the Stephen F. Austin Camerata Orchestra and their director, Ann Victor.
Good morning. It is my honor to introduce the Las Vegas Academy of the Arts Wind Ensemble, John Seaton, director, and with John this morning is David Maccabee and Karen Camulia. Next we have the from Texas, Spring, Texas, the Spring ISD Alumni Band. Trent Cooper, director, and another director with him is Stan Malden. The next group is the group that without them, we wouldn't be running the Midwest Convention. They're also special. The one liability they have is they gave me a master's degree. I'm sorry. But anyway, so this is the VanderCook College of Music, Alex Kaminsky, director.
All righty. We'll start out with the Allen Percussion Ensemble, Miles Locke, conductor. Next is the Glenda Dawson High School Percussion Ensemble, Lou Boldagrini, conductor. Aaron Brown's with him, got the boss here too. All right, Kerr Middle School Percussion Ensemble, Andrew Klein and Catherine Klein. All right. Rockwood Summit High School Percussion Ensemble, Peter Repp. Roma High School Percussion Ensemble, Moses Simon, conductor. And last but certainly not least, Salyards Middle School Percussion Ensemble, Joe Glass and Linda Wynn. Come on up.
All right, good morning. Before I begin, just a quick word of personal thanks to Richard Crane. Yesterday afternoon, he suggested we attend the cannabis convention together. And I was amazed by the number of people that knew him. And just a nice segue, speaking of Mile High, from the Denver School of the Arts, the full orchestra, their conductor Enrique Lisansky. Has to be dignified. From San Antonio, the Johnson High School Forza full orchestra, Karen George and her assistant conductor, Patrick Cheney. From Palo Alto, California, the Henry M. Gunn High School Chamber Orchestra, directors Sandra Lewis and Tiffany O. Ponticelli. From Cupertino, California, so just down the street, Monte Vista High School, their orchestra. John Gilchrist is their conductor, but he's with his band, so he's band and orchestra. He's with his band in Great Britain right now. So I understand Sandra Lewis is going to accept his pin and make sure that he gets it. Or there could be a pin on eBay this week, so take a look. From Fulton County, Georgia, Northview High School Orchestra, their conductor Jeremy Wolstenham. One of the most heart-wrenching stories from last year, within 48 hours of their departure to perform here at Midwest, the Walton High School Chamber Orchestra had a COVID outbreak and could not attend. So we are so happy, and they went through the process, so they reapplied, re-auditioned. We are so happy. Nothing could go wrong this year. Monkeypox, nothing is going to go wrong this year. So co-directors Perry Holbrook and Sarah Grimes.
It's just not fair having to follow Mark Laycock. He says like 3 words a year, and they're the funniest things you've ever heard. Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome from Brooklyn, New York, the Brooklyn Wind Symphony, Jeff Ball and Andrew Schwartz. And from the Capitol Quartet, Christopher Creviston, saxophonist. Christopher. From O'Fallon, Illinois, the O'Fallon Township High School Wind Ensemble, directors Melissa Gustafson-Hines and Philip Carter. And you'll notice Melissa over there, she's like our PR material person, so we get another picture with you over here. The Oak Ridge High School Brass Ensemble, Albert Vela and Gerald Dillard. And finally, this is such a fun name to say, the Sooner Bassooners, Rod Ackman and Diane Ackman.
All right, you made it through the hardest part. Maybe. Now you get to listen to me. My name is Kelly Bell. I'm the Executive Director for the Midwest Clinic, and I'm so excited to see you all here in person. I know a lot of you have been corresponding with via email and also over the phone, and so it's really great to put some faces with some names. The next part of this meeting, I'm going to be talking through some logistic details, and I'm also going to have a couple of people come up and share some special things that are happening as well. And then at the end, I will open it up for questions. After the question time, we're going to do tours of the facility, and then we'll all come back here at the end. You can grab your stuff, and then if you have any questions that are detailed and pertinent to your ensemble, I'll be sticking around, the liaisons will be sticking around, and we can answer those questions at that time as well. Also, if you have additional directors in your ensemble that weren't able to attend today and they need a pin, we have extra pins that you can grab for them too as well at the end of the meeting. So there's a little bit of the details of what's going to happen next, and then I think we're ready to dive on in. So, programming, our favorite topic. You guys have been doing a stellar job of getting your pieces into the reservation system. Starting next Wednesday is going to be our first confirmation period. And we do these confirmation periods to kind of help you with the process of whittling down your selections. You, at this point, could have up to 18 pieces reserved in our system, but you can't play 18 pieces on your concert program. And so we want you to start taking a good look at those pieces and confirm the ones that you know for sure you're still considering. If there's any that you're not considering anymore, then you will not confirm those, or you can delete them. And what will happen is it'll make it available for another ensemble potentially to pick that piece. So don't be a hoarder. We all like to share, right? Really, the important thing to note with these confirmation periods, even if nothing on your program is changing, say you're set, you've got your pieces, your timing, everything worked out, you still need to log into the intranet and confirm those selections. After the confirmation period closes, any piece that's not been confirmed will be deleted from your selection, and that will cause a lot of headache. So please make sure, even if nothing changes, log into the intranet, confirm your selections, and then you should be good to go. If you're unsure if the confirmation went through, give me a call, shoot me an email, I can double check for you. You have a full week to get that accomplished. So we have plenty of time to work through that together. So the first confirmation period starts this Wednesday, June 15th. There is also a video on how to do that in the Performer Handbook. I encourage you to check that out if you're unsure of how the confirmation should work. And then the second one happens in mid-July. Hopefully by mid-July, you should be 1 or 2 pieces within your final program set. The band and orchestra program drafts are due to your liaison on August 3rd. So this can just be a regular list of your pieces and your performance times so that they can go through it with you and make sure everything makes sense and there's no major glaring errors. Once they've gone through that with you and approved your program, then you can put it into the final program format. And again, there's a template for that in the Performer Handbook. I will also be sending out details about that in a memo before that deadline. Same thing with jazz. You're going to be working with your liaison to draft your final program, but you have a little bit of extra time to get the final program to us. You have until September 17th. The reason why we have these deadlines is because we have to put those into the program, the concert program. So after those dates have passed, so after August 17th for band and orchestra and September 17th for jazz, we can't be making any more changes to those programs because they're going to be going off to the printer. What you send us is what will go into the program. Does that make sense? Okay. And as I mentioned, a lot of these details are in the handbook, but I will also be sending you additional information in the memos that'll be coming out over the next couple of months. All right, so this year we're excited. We're starting a new initiative with our social media. We've been talking about ways to help other people join us in our experience of getting ready for Midwest. So we have 2 social media initiatives that Stan Malden is actually going to come up and share a little bit about. So Stan, would you mind?
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. So if you guys remember a year ago, we did some TikTok moments that were welcome back to Midwest. Did you guys see those a year ago? And they were hugely successful. What we would like to do this year is feature your ensembles in 2 initiatives. Number one, we'd like to do a weekly feature about certain ensembles. So if you choose to volunteer for this, we'd like to have you featured in a one-time only feature. We'd like to also do a behind-the-scenes look at your ensemble, which would be, I think, really fun to see how you put this together. What does it take to go to the Midwest Clinic? If you're trying to tune your piccolos. I've got a football player who plays viola. Any of those kind of fun things that are different would be really cool to put out for the Midwest Clinic, okay? So we're going to be kind of bending your arm a little bit. We're looking for 30-second little takes and 30-second little videos that we can put together, and we'll send those out. We'll do a weekly feature and then like a Midwest moment, a behind-the-scenes look. So Kelly's going to be sending you an email, and please respond, and we'd love for you to participate in that, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, so if that's something that you're interested in, I'll be sending out a Google form for any of those, or for you to fill out, and then we'll contact you and walk you through the process. So I think it's going to be a great way to show people what happens in this Midwest Clinic journey, because it's kind of mysterious until you go through it. So we want to demystify that a little bit. All right, so let's talk about some things to keep in mind over the next couple of months. In the next memo, I'm going to be sending all of you a rehearsal room request form. This is going to go out in the memo that's going to go out on Wednesday. Every ensemble can have at least one hour rehearsal. We have 2 rooms that are designated. They'll have percussion set up and a piano and chairs and stands, and you can rehearse with your ensemble prior to your concert. This is not your warm-up time. You will also have an hour warm-up in the concert hall space prior to your actual performance. This is going to happen at a separate time. When you fill out the form, you'll be given 3 different options. So let us know your first option of when you'd like your rehearsal scheduled, second option, and third option, and we'll work with you to try and find the best spot for when your rehearsal will be. After everybody has had a chance to claim one rehearsal spot, then we'll open it up. So if you would like a second rehearsal, you can request that at any time. So we'll keep sending out the updated rehearsal schedule with all of the open spots available. So as we're progressing over the next couple of months, if you want to secure some additional rehearsal time, you can. If those spots aren't available, you can also talk to the hotels and see if they have a space that you can use as well. The only thing is we won't be providing any kind of extra equipment for those. So that would be something where you'd have to work with the hotel directly to reserve those spots and equip those spaces. So these are really great because everything will already be there for you. Let's talk a little bit about special AV needs. Every performance space will have a stage, a piano, a microphone, and obviously chairs and stands and percussion equipment and whatnot. If you are wanting to do something extra, so say you need additional sound equipment, and jazz ensembles, you have more. There's more microphones and things set up in the jazz room. So if you have any concerns about that, we can talk about that one-on-one. But the rest of the rehearsals or the performance spaces, they're pretty bare bones as far as what we're going to provide technology-wise. If you want to do something additionally in your performance space, you need to let us know as soon as possible, because what we're going to have to do is reach out to our tech team and the union and find out what that additional cost is going to be. And your ensemble will be responsible for that additional cost. That is not included in part of what we service as the Midwest Clinic. And so we want to let you know, okay, this is what it's going to cost to make this happen, and then see if that's how you would like to proceed. So the sooner you can let us know if that's something that you would like us to look into, the better, so that way we can get that information back to you. If you have any concerns about that, just let me know. One thing to keep in mind is that this is a union shop, so even if you have your own technology, you're like, well, just bring it in and do it ourselves. Unfortunately, that is not an option here in Chicago. So even if you're bringing in your own equipment, there will be a cost associated with that. So let's talk, and then we can find out what the best solution for you would be, okay? Photo and bio deadline is September 30th. Again, these are the photos and the bios that are going to be going into the program. After that deadline, then no changes can be made. So these photos include all of the directors that are going to be performing with your ensemble, any guest soloists, artists, guest conductors, all of that information will need to be submitted to the performer internet by that deadline. So if you're getting new photos, and you upload those, it needs to be done prior to September 30th. If you have any issues with that, let me know. I can help you out. Badges. So we're doing badges a little bit differently this year than we have in the past. So for those of you who are alumni or veterans to the Midwest Clinic, it's going to change just a little bit. So for all adults that are going to be joining the ensembles, they're actually going to register and get PVC badges. And I'll talk a little bit about how that's going to work in just a second. All of the performers, everybody who's actually playing an instrument in the ensemble, they will get a complimentary generic badge. That information we're going to pull from the performer internet. You have a space where you can say, these are the number of performers in my ensemble. So if you have 23 students performing in your ensemble, you put that in the performer internet, we'll send you 23 performer badges. All right, so that's all you have to do in order to secure the badges for your performers. For every K-12 ensemble, so anybody middle school or high school, you are eligible to receive one chaperone badge for every 2 ensemble members. All right, so if you have 10 ensemble members, we will send you a link to reserve 5 chaperone badges. Make sense? Any additional chaperone that you have, it's a $25 badge fee. All right. If you are a college or professional ensemble, you will get complimentary badges for all of your performers and then 10 additional chaperone or guest badges for you to use at your discretion. Any additional guest or chaperone, it's a $25 badge fee. So I will be sending a link out to all of you. It'll be a specialized link to register your adults. So not the performers, chaperones. This would be chaperones, administrators, conductors. I'll send you a link with a discount code for you to redeem the complimentary badges. Once those complimentary badge discount codes are used, then you just pay an additional $25 for any extras. All right? For all of the performer badges, we're going to be mailing those out in November. Anybody who registered for a PVC badge, you'll pick that up when you get to the conference in December. Okay? And again, if we have questions about that, I'm happy to answer that at the end of the presentation. Equipment request. So this would be if you are planning on using stringed instruments provided by the Midwest Clinic or any extra percussion. There's a whole list of them in the performer handbook that you can reference. We'll need to know what you need by October 28th. That form is actually in the handbook if you want to start filling it out now. If you know, you're more than welcome to do that. But we just need to know what you need by October 28th. If there's anything on the list that we aren't able to provide, we'll let you know as soon as possible. The setup chart, this is really, really important for all of our staff and our crew. We need to have the final setup chart also by October 28th. So chairs and stands and where you want the percussion equipment, if you are using that. Something also to note, all of the stages will have a piano on them. So you need to account for that even if you aren't using the piano. We cannot remove the grand pianos from the stage. We have a crew that comes and sets them up specially for us, and they're grand pianos. They're not something that we can just roll off the stages. So please make sure that you're taking that into consideration when you're planning your stage setup. And then lastly, with the equipment truck deadline. So some of you are going to be using like a U-Haul or equipment truck to drop off equipment that you're going to be using for your ensemble. That is not a problem. But we do need to know when you're planning on doing that by November 30th. And then we'll let our ground crew know so that they can make sure that the docks are open and available for you. The last thing we want is for you to be rolling in with a truck full of percussion equipment and a bunch of kids to help unload, and then nobody's there, the docks are closed, and then we don't have any plan of how to handle that. So please make sure that you let us know that information, again, by November 30th. I will be sending out all of this in memos to remind you of these deadlines, and then I can answer questions as well if you have any about that. All right, now I'd like to introduce my friend, Alex Kaminsky. He's going to talk a little bit about VanderCook College and their students and what they do to assist us at the Midwest Clinic. Alex?
Thank you. First, congratulations on having your ensembles selected to perform at the Midwest Clinic. I was actually a high school band director for 30 years in Florida and was honored to sit where you're sitting 4 times. And I had feelings of excitement, apprehension, everything in between. And, you know, this is a huge achievement, and I applaud each and every one of you for instilling a standard of excellence in your adult or student musicians. If this is your first time performing, it's an experience unlike any other, and one that your students will never forget. If you've had a group selected to perform before, which several of you have, you know what I'm talking about. As I said, I was a high school band director for 30 years and went from teaching high school students to training future band directors and future music educators as director of bands at VanderCook College of Music. I really enjoy doing what I do now because I'm able to teach from firsthand experience, having been in the trenches of public school education for a long time. So just a short history lesson, a little bit about VanderCook and our students. Hale A. VanderCook established VanderCook Cornet School in 1909. It basically started as a band director training school and became incorporated as VanderCook College of Music in 1928. Members of the first graduating class included William D. Ravelli and Hubert E. Nutt, who would later be one of the founders of the Midwest Clinic. VanderCook College of Music is strictly a music education college. We offer a unique curriculum that prepares our students through a comprehensive course of study, which means that every VanderCook graduate is trained to teach band, orchestra, choir, and general music, regardless of their focus area or track. So for example, every student in the band also sings in the choir. Every student at the college is required to achieve proficiency on all of the brass, woodwind, string, and percussion instruments, along with piano, guitar, and voice. We do this by dividing instrument families into smaller, more focused techniques classes. For example, each student will take a semester of high brass techniques and then a separate semester of low brass techniques. So the bottom line is that our teacher training is rooted in the belief that you learn by doing, developing and honing necessary teaching skills through hands-on experiences. So VanderCook's connection to the Midwest Clinic dates back to the very beginning of the conference. The Midwest Clinic started in 1946 at a YWCA on the west side of Chicago as a collaboration between H.E. Nutt of VanderCook College of Music, Howard Lyons of the Lyons Band Instrument Company, and Neil Chose Sr. At that time, it was a 6-hour clinic and new music reading session presented by the VanderCook College of Music Symphonic Band. As the founding ensemble, the VanderCook Symphonic Band has performed at every clinic every year since that very first one in 1946. The band is, of course, comprised of wind and percussion majors, but also includes a number of choral and string music education majors performing on secondary instruments. So if you've been to the Midwest Clinic, you've seen the blue vests. Who are the blue vests? Throughout the week of the Midwest Clinic, VanderCook students work as setup crews, ushers who hand out programs, badge scanners, and are essentially the student hosts and logistics team for the entire clinic. They wear the iconic blue vests or stage crew shirts and represent VanderCook and its service to music education. Their service to the Midwest Clinic is another important dimension of the comprehensive music education degree that they receive at VanderCook College of Music. So a few things for you to keep in mind. Our students are all music ed majors from freshman through master's level students. The Midwest Clinic is essentially their Super Bowl. It's a huge opportunity for them to get a behind the scenes look at the largest instrumental music clinic in the world. Although they do work in shifts and are able to visit the exhibits and attend concerts and sessions, it's also a tremendous amount of work. They often start at 6:30 a.m. and work or rehearse until after 8:30 p.m. Just like the Super Bowl, they are exhausted once everything is finally disassembled on Thursday after everyone leaves. They will do their very best to carry out every request that is made of them. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask one of them. If they don't have an immediate answer, they'll know who to go to get the answer. I would also mention that many of the adult staff on site were blue vests at one time. Also know that they don't have direct control over things like the air conditioning, or if for some reason the schedule happens to get a little bit off. They're simply there to facilitate the process in any way that they can. They do go through a training beforehand so that they understand how to carry out their specific roles and responsibilities. Also, I will be floating around, so if you see me and need anything, don't hesitate to ask. VanderCook headquarters or command central is in 375C, which divides the two main performance halls. The only time VanderCook is not fully engaged with the logistics of the clinic is during our own concert on Wednesday morning at 11. You can also go to the Midwest Clinic office, which is on the 4th floor near the northeast elevator. So that's just a little background of VanderCook College of Music. And again, I'm available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, we couldn't do this conference without them. They are a critical piece to this whole operation, and we are exceedingly grateful for the partnership that the Midwest Clinic has had with VanderCook all of these years. So thank you again. We're going to talk a little bit about spaces, and some of these, well, actually, all of these spaces we're going to show you in person during our tour later on this morning. But I just want to talk through them a little bit so you understand what's going to be happening in each of them. So as I mentioned before, we have 2 rehearsal rooms. These are places where you can reserve. You'll have 1 hour in that space. There's going to be a 15-minute transition before and after each rehearsal. So please be kind and courteous of your time slot. Make sure that you don't extend past that time because you could then be affecting somebody else's rehearsal. You will also be assigned a homeroom. Every ensemble will have a homeroom space with a key that they can keep all of their equipment and any personal belongings. That space will be locked, so it will be secure. It is not a rehearsal space. Please refrain from rehearsing in those spaces. A lot of times they're going to be near clinic rooms. There'll be multiple different home rooms next to each other, and we just want to be mindful and courteous of those around us and limit any kind of sound bleed. So we do ask you to not rehearse in those spaces. We also ask you not to eat in those rooms as well, because they are not going to be serviced by McCormick staff or cleaned regularly with, to remove food. So we ask that you do, if you're eating, either do that at your hotel or in one of the designated spaces here at McCormick Place. And then our performance spaces, again, we are going to be taking you around to each of those rooms so you can kind of see what they look in their raw form. So obviously none of the stages are going to be up or any of the chairs in place, but you can at least see where you're going and start to conceptualize how you're going to move around the facility. There are maps of each or layouts of each of the rooms in the performer handbook. So if you want to see a diagram of how that room is situated, as well as the stage size and dimensions, all of that information is in the handbook, and you can actually see how that layout is going to be. As I mentioned before, you will have a 1-hour sound check prior to your performance in that rehearsal space. So your students will have an opportunity to get used to the sound and the acoustics in each of those rooms. Also during that sound check time, we will have our professional photographers coming in and taking photos of your groups. And those are all scheduled out. So I will be sending you that information prior to your arrival here at Midwest Clinic. So that way you know, okay, I've got 20 minutes, and then I need to take a 5-minute break for everybody to look at the camera and smile, and then we can continue on. But again, I will be sending you that information a little bit later in the year. And then last but not least, 375C, which Alex mentioned, is our home base for our our Blue Vests, as well as our instrument storage area. So if you're using, say, for example, cellos from the Midwest Clinic, your students will go to 375C and get those instruments. After they're done using them, they'll take them back to that space. You won't be able to keep them between rehearsals and performances because there's a lot of people using the equipment. So if you are, say you have a rehearsal scheduled for Thursday morning, let's go with Tuesday morning, not after the conference. Tuesday, it's Monday through Wednesday, man, or Thursday. I've said it a million times and I'm still getting used to this concept. So Tuesday morning, you have a rehearsal. So you go down to 375C, you grab your instruments, you take them back after your rehearsal. Your concert is, say, Tuesday evening, you'll have to go back, get the instruments, and then go to your concert. All right, so after each use, you need to return them to that space so that the next group can use them as well. We'll also have a repair tech on hand in that space, so if you have any emergencies or issues with instruments, hopefully we can help you get fixed and up and running again, and that is provided courtesy of Quinlan and Fabish. So that space is a good space for you to know, and we'll show you exactly where that is during our tour a little bit later. All right, so when you arrive, so in December, when you get here, when you're bringing your students to McCormick Place, if they're not staying on one of the properties here, one of the hotels here, if you're staying at a property and you're busing over, you're going to be dropping off your students at gate 41, and we'll show you where that is. It's a secured spot that is going to be reserved just for dropping off performers. So you won't be contending with traffic from the buses from the hotels and whatnot. Then you can go get your homeroom key. That's going to be located at registration. Any of your adults can get their badges at that time as well, and you can pick up any of the complimentary event program books. They're big, but a lot of people want to take those home. You've got your program and your photos in it, so you get those at registration. After that, you can proceed to your homeroom with your students and all of your equipment, drop stuff off. And then if you have buses, there is overnight parking available, and it's adjacent to Lot B, and there is, again, a map in the handbook that you can reference. There's also a link so that you can pay for that and reserve it ahead of time so you're not dealing with those logistics when you get here. We also have some additional opportunities that we want to make sure that you're aware of. There's college night. It's Thursday evening from 5:30 to 7:30. It's going to be in 375D, which is right next to 375C. And we're going to have all of the colleges and universities that are exhibiting at the conference in that space with folks there to talk to your students about next steps if they want to pursue a career in music or music business, music education, performance, whatever it may be. We'll also have military ensembles there as well to answer any questions that they may have. If you are a middle school, high school director, or especially high school director, this is something you absolutely want to make sure is included in your itinerary. It's a wonderful opportunity for those students. Yes, it's Thursday evening. Did I say Tuesday? Oh yeah, it would be Tuesday. You're right. Man, Monday through what? Okay, it's Tuesday evening, not Thursday. No, that's a good catch. I apologize. Tuesday evening. It's Tuesday evening. It's Tuesday evening, not Thursday. That's wrong. Okay, hopefully the rest of them are right. Parent sessions. We have opportunities for your parent chaperones to have special time with Dr. Tim Lotzenheiser, talking about things that are relevant to parent boosters and parent support groups that are going to be traveling with your ensemble. This is a wonderful time for them to get a little bit of refreshment and encouragement for what the hard work that they're doing. So again, make sure your parents know that this is specifically scheduled for them. It's every day at 3 o'clock. The topic will be different each day. So if they want to come every day at 3 o'clock and hang out with Dr. Tim, it's never a bad thing. Also, outside the exhibit hall areas, we have two little chamber ensemble performance spaces. So if you're interested in having a chamber group perform in one of those, it's usually 15 or 20-minute sets. You just let me know, and then we'll work that out with your performance, your rehearsal schedule, and then they can go out there and they can play. This is a really pared down performance. There's not going to be sound equipment or technology. We'll just have chairs and stands. If you need any kind of tech support, then you should keep in mind that you're going to need to bring that. Like if you need amps or whatever, you'll need to provide that yourself, but we'll have chairs and stands out there for you. And if that's something that you would be interested in, let me know and we'll get you scheduled for some of those. Our official photographer for the Midwest Clinic is Jolish Photography. And as I mentioned, they are going to be doing ensemble photos during your rehearsal time or your warm-up time prior to your concert. And they'll also do individual photos if you're interested. And all of those will be available for purchase in the, it's actually the F2 in front of exhibit hall area, right next to Starbucks, actually. We all know where Starbucks is, right? So they're located right next to Starbucks if you're interested in purchasing photos while you're at the clinic. And then we have our official apparel company is Artflow. I know a lot of times you will be interested in buying jackets or shirts or things for your ensemble prior to their arrival at the clinic. If you have your own vendor that you use, you're more than welcome to do that. But if you need a vendor or if you're interested in talking with Artflow, let me know. I can put you in contact with them and then you can work with them to get your custom made apparel for the clinic. Okay? Yes. I do not know that. He just he asked if we can get the photos in digital format, and I'm not sure if you can or you cannot. I know we usually do have versions available after the conference, but I don't know the restrictions on that, so I will ask. All right, so we also have an audio recording company that will be recording all of the concerts. Today is the deadline to sign and return the permission form. So hopefully you brought that with you if you haven't sent it via email already. If you did not, if you forgot to bring your permission form, your signed permission form, we do have copies so you can sign them and return them today as well. If you have questions about that, the permission form, come see me afterward and then we can talk about it. We need all of the copyright notices for your pieces sent to Mark Custom Recording by October 1st to make sure that we have permission to record all of your pieces. If there is any kind of an issue with that, then we'll work directly with Mark to work that out, because we have had some situations in the past where somebody wasn't able to get permission, so a piece wasn't recorded, or a group, worked with him to make that work. So if you have any issues, come talk to us and we'll work it out with you. Soloists, conductors, composers, and arrangers permissions forms need to be completed by November 18th. And then the order form for those groups that are purchasing recordings needs to be completed by December 3rd. All of that, again, is in your packet that you have from Mark Custom Recording, and those are also available in the Performer Handbook. All right, we made it to the end. At this time, if you have any questions that are pertinent to the group, I will answer those questions. If you have an individual question, something that's specific to your ensemble, we can answer those after the tour. But are there any general questions? Yes. Correct. Nope. You can tell us where you want the piano. That's part of your setup chart. So yes, you can move it wherever you need to, but just keep in mind it will be there. So even if you're not using it, make sure that that's included in your setup chart. Yes, Margaret. Not always. If your group is doing something extra. So for example, some of the performing ensembles are also demo groups for clinics. We'll make sure that you have ample time in that homeroom space to cover the time period that you are actively playing here at the clinic. But if, say for example, your group performs on Monday morning, you're not going to have a homeroom available on Tuesday. Unless you have some type of activity happening on Tuesday. Your homeroom will only be that Monday. But if you're doing a clinic on Tuesday, then we'll extend that time so that you're covered for that duration. To kind of expound on that, some of the homerooms will be shared by multiple ensembles over the course of the clinic. Okay, yes. Nope, you can register your chaperones when you arrive if you want to. So if you don't know exactly who your chaperones are, we'll send you that discount code so that you can redeem your complimentary chaperone registrations. But when they get here, they can actually go through the registration line, use that discount code, and get their badge when they arrive as well. Yep, yes. Yeah, he just asked if there are diagrams and dimensions of the stages you'll be utilizing in the Performer Handbook, and the answer is yes. That's okay. Those are actually the diagrams that you'll use to draw your seating charts for us, or stage plots. Yep. Any other questions? Yes. Okay. No. If you've already filled out the rehearsal request form, because it is available in the handbook, you don't need to do it again. It goes to a Google document, and so you're good to go. After everybody has submitted their request, I will let you know when your rehearsal is scheduled. We may not always be able to give you your first option, but we'll work with you to try and give you at least your second option. And then once everybody has filled it out once, then I'll send you the schedule, and then you can let us know if there's any of the open spots that you'd like to claim for a second rehearsal. Yeah. If you have, yeah, so she asked if you have family members coming, do you have them register as chaperones? Chaperones/guests. So those complimentary badges are for you to use at your discretion. And I would say use those first, right? So if you have family or guests coming, make sure you use your complimentary badges first, and then any additional person, it's the $25 fee. So but you can use them however you want. Yes. No, but that is a really great thing to mention. He asked if there's, did you say a virtual fee? Oh, okay. No, there's not going to be a live feed of the performances. But for anybody that has any kind of, they need some special accommodations for any students or parents with disabilities, if you let us know, we'll work to try and facilitate that or accommodate those needs. You just need to let us know. So for example, if you have a student that is not able to climb upstairs and they need to have special access to a stage, let us know so that we can make sure that they have what they need in order to do their performance properly. So if you have a parent that has a special need too, just let us know so that we can work with you to figure out the best option for them. Okay? Yes. That's a great question. He asked if badges are required to attend performances, and yes, they're required for everything at the conference. The only area that you can come into without a badge is the concourse area. I mean, you can come into the building, but you can't go to any clinics or any performances or the exhibit hall. So badges are required. Something also to note, the performer badges, as I mentioned, they're generic. So if you are part of like an adult ensemble who has teachers performing in your ensemble and they want to get credit, college credit, or credit hours for recertification, if they have a generic badge, they won't be able to have their badge scanned for that recertification. If they would like a PVC badge or the regular badging that can track their credit hours or their attendance, then they can purchase either a guest badge or a director badge, but they'll have to do that on their own. Their generic badge will not cover those credit hour tracking. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. They can buy a badge. The guest badges are $25. Yep. So if you don't have any more complimentary badges left, they can purchase a guest or a chaperone badge for $25. Okay. Yes. Yep. You can buy badges up until, I think, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Yeah. Thank you. I'm working on it. Yes, sir. Yeah, all of the badge information is under the badge section in the handbook. Yeah. But again, if you have specific questions or it's confusing, let me know. I can break it down even further. It's not a problem. Any additional questions? Okay, so we're going to take a little break. And then we're going to meet in our groups for our tour. So your group, you should have a group number on your badge. Group 1 is, they're performing groups that are playing in 375 AB, and I will be your tour guide. Group 2 is going to be groups performing in 183 and 184. And we have a wonderful lady from McCormick Place that's going to be doing that. Her name is Jennifer. And then our group 3, our groups performing in 190 and 196, and Tony Garcia, our jazz aficionado, is going to be your esteemed tour guide. And then group 4 is our groups performing in 375E, and Tom Moore is going to be your tour guide. So let's take a 10-minute break. Right now I have that it's 10:18. Let's reconvene in about, let's say 10:30 back here in our groups, and then we'll take off for our tours.